Hey, he's back with a Monday meander. That's how we're going to start now, forever. That's it now. Monday meander. Found that on a vlog. Shout out to Charlie Fleming. He's the guy. Just a guy who vlogs. One of my favorite things is trying to find real niche YouTube vlogs. People who make vlogs, you know. And I guess what I'm doing is kind of a vlog, isn't it? This is sort of a vlog. But not a vlog. It's like a log, which sounds like a shit. But like a vlog is like, what's that? A visual blog, video blog. It's a blog you can see. Well, that's our boy Charlie Fleming. Shout out to Charlie Fleming. He has no idea who I am, but I fucking know all about you, mate. I've watched all your vlogs. He's there on YouTube. He reviews pot noodles, mate. Pot noodles and all sorts of shit. Monday meander. Anyway, I'm the king of the north. Comedy is a fucking bitch, mate. Stand-up comedy, open mic stand-up. Well, you've only been doing comedy less than 3 years, mate. It's not easy, is it? Fuck no. Alright, last time I spoke to you, I was doing the Leicester Square New Act of the Year. Fucking went down to the gig, the Museum of Comedy, with my friend Sophie, who was also on the lineup. I was like, it's a funny name for a venue, innit? Turns out, it's a Museum of Comedy. Who would have fucking thought that? Do you know what I mean? Like, but anyway, I'm last on, which is, it's not, you're not headlining that gig, mate. You know what I mean? The best place to go in a competition, I think, is right before or right after the break. Do you know, the middle of the interval? Because right before the break is perfect. Because if you had a good set, man, people will come out and they'll be like, oh, great set. You know, just they remember you. You're the guy who was literally just on stage, dude. Like, oh, fucking banging, mate. That joke you did there about the Nazis. I mean, they are like that, aren't they? I'm like, fucking, mate. I'm the only one talking about Nazis, mate, and that's why I'm fucking winning all these competitions. But no, I was last on, man, and I came on. It's fucking, I've got some new shit, and it was flying. I opened real strong, I thought, like real strong. It's only 5 minutes, dude. It's 5 minutes to impress a bunch of strangers. Imagine if someone came up to you now and just a stand up, right, wherever you are, McDonald's or like the morgue or wherever you fucking hang out, the beach in the rain. It's currently raining, but like at the beach, you're at the beach now. What the fuck are you doing at the beach, mate? It's September. But like you fucking, do you know what I mean? Like stand up now, entertain these people. I know it's what I've chosen to do. I'm fucking fully aware of that, mate. I'm aware that it's what I've chosen to do, but it is still hard. Standing up 5 minutes, you got to fucking impress those people, make those people laugh. And like, you're like, oh, maybe like if you go on last, you've seen what everyone's got to do. And I'm like, actually, mate, there's like fucking 12 people or whatever on this lineup. All doing 5 minute sets, all of completely different levels. The people are knackered. They just want to go home at this point. And they were made fully. But anyway, I started off pretty strong, and then I was like, oh, sweet. And then we got to about maybe 4 minutes, and I was like, oh, I've got this last little story, which always works. Always works. It's never not worked. Do you know what I mean? Because it was like a true story from my life. So even from its like initial inception, like because it's like a real story with like a couple of like with like the punchlines and stuff thrown in, it's always done well because I've been able to tell it because it's confident. Like I'm like because it happened. So I'm doing the fucking bit and everything else has fucking flown, like landed, and then I get into this fucking bit. And it just doesn't go over with them for some reason. And then I get to the last bit, but they are laughing kind of like meandering along. Monday meander. Do you know what I mean? Like, and then get to the bit that the last fucking punchline, and I'm like, boom, hit him with it. And it's kind of just. Do you know what I mean? Do you know when you're like gonna go for this fucking banging shit, mate? Do you know I've been building up to it all day. My bowels are a wreck. Do you know what I mean? You get there and there's nothing. A ghost. Try to make that noise where you breathe down a pipe. But you know what I mean? Fuck all. And I was like, and then I looked at my watch. I had fucking like 10 seconds left. And I was like, it's not enough time to fucking save it, is there? I mean, maybe I could have thrown in just a completely like non sequitur fucking joke at the end. And maybe that's what I should have done. And this is what we're doing, man. We're fucking learning. Because I didn't do that, did I? I just went, what an anticlimax. I think I said that. Don't finish your set by saying what an anticlimax during a comedy competition. But anyway, I felt like I had a pretty strong set, and even after that, when they were doing the judging, and a couple of the audience, man, they get to do a little vote, don't they? A little audience vote. I don't like an audience vote because you don't fucking know, do you? You there sitting there and you got an office job. You don't fucking know. No, actually, mate, I think you'll find it's the audience that police stand-up comedies because they decide whether or not they need to laugh. If you think it's not about the audience, mate, why didn't you just do stand-up comedy in your own house without an audience there? Oh, well, actually, mate, I think you'll find it's what I'm currently fucking doing. So shut the fuck up and leave me alone. All right? Sick of you. Fucking sick of you. Right there. They got to vote. And I was like, oh, maybe I'll get in. But then there was one guy there who I fucking knew was going to win it, right? Called Joseph Emsley. Fucking great. I knew about him before I started. Well, just as I started doing comedy. So he's fucking smashing it, mate. Already smashing it. And he had a great set. I had to nip out during his set. So I didn't actually watch his set, but obviously I didn't want to come in and disrupt his set. So I listened to it from the little airlock between the door, the back door of the venue, and the main room of the Museum of Comedy. Really interesting museum. Like, this is the time that he made that room laugh. It's very very funny. I think they got a fez in there. You know, Tommy Cooper's fez. Probably not his actual fez, but they've just been like, do you remember that guy who wore a fez? That is also a fez. I'm like, fucking thanks a lot, mate. Museum of Comedy. It's fucking great. It's like like the USA having an ancient history museum. Do you know what I mean? Or like, this is the museum of I was gonna say museum of computers, but there's kind of fucking loads of nerds out there who really, really want that. Do you know what I mean? It's just not old. My point is, it's not old enough. I mean, and they're doing you could say court jesters as stand-up comedians, can't you? Court jesters. But I don't know. There's no record of it, mate. There's no record. Apparently, we just think they walked around with fucking like bells on their toes and that. Do you know what I mean? Just fucking tinkling about and that. We don't fucking know. Stand-up comedy is like music hall and shit like that, 1920s, but it's still different. And then you got like Lenny Bruce and what's that, 1950s. We can put it to there. All right, Museum of Comedy. But anyway, he fucking absolutely killed it. So when they announced the winners, and I was like, right, if they don't say, they go like, because there's 3 people get through, and there's like fucking 10 or whatever, 12 people in it. So they'll go through it like, they'll announce the 3rd place, 2nd place, and then the winner. And these two girls got through. One was like kind of like a performance, more of a performance artist than a stand-up, I'd say. Did the whole piece about monologues. It wasn't particularly to my taste, but she had a great set, and the audience fucking loved it. And then somebody else got through. But basically, when it got to after they announced the 2nd person, I was like, well, fucking this is done for, innit? But I'm gonna say, based on nothing, that came 4th. Well, I just was proud of my set, obviously, until they didn't announce me, and then I was like, that was the fucking worst set I've ever had on the way home. Fuck that set. But the next day, I was coaching it up with fucking post not being the greatest comedian in the world depression, or the fucking coach up north, and then that's when we fucking went on the Red Raw tour, don't we? We were playing all of the stands, iconic venues. Fucking Stuart Lee recorded one of his specials, stand-up comedian, in the fucking Glasgow stand. That was gig number 2. That was like last Tuesday. So fuck. And I thought, I've gigged in Brighton, and I've gigged all the way along to like Portsmouth, and I've gigged across up to Birmingham, and I've gigged over like Oxford, and this is like the fucking catchment area. It's all pretty southern. It's all pretty fucking southern. I did do a couple of spots at the Edinburgh Fringe, all right? But the Fringe doesn't count, because I'm not sure any of the people in the audience was Scottish. Do you know what I mean? It's international comedy festival. All the Scottish people probably just fucking sit up in their attic with all their stored away fucking iron brew contraband from before the recipe changed. Do you know what I mean? They're just in there, turning orange and swearing. Fuck. I don't know what that was. Anyway, so me and my friend from college, Bernie, we fucking drive along the coast, real nice. And Found out that you can change. You get sat nav, fucking Google, mate, Google Maps. You can. We tried to change it to because I wanted to change it to Snoop Dogg because it's always that woman, right? I wanted to change it to Snoop Dogg, or see, he said that apparently you could change it to Captain Jack Sparrow. Do you know from the fucking, Pirates of the Caribbean. And so we looked down. You can't change it. So for a bit we had Russian, but hard to know what they're saying or where to go because we don't speak Russian. But it's just funny being like, but all of them are that woman. I don't know how they changed the gender of it. All of them are that woman, but just with like a weird sort of computer generated, what sounds like a computer generated accent that's like treated the that same voice. It's like an effect they've put on, like an accent effect, which is amazing. I'd love to have access to that. Imagine putting that on like a piano or like a guitar or something. Just being like, wow, what? Listen to those Geordie chords. Do you know what I mean? Like, that's fucking great. South African fucking piano. Do you know what I mean? But I know good day is Australian. I was going to say after that Australian ukulele. I was going to say Australian ukulele, all right? I wasn't suggesting that South Africans and Australians are the same, all right? So fucking don't come at me with South Africans don't say good day. And I'm sure one of them has when they've been impersonated in Australia. That's what I was doing, mate. I was doing an impression of a musical instrument with an effects pedal on it, all right, which is the South African accent, but a South African person doing a very good impression of an Australian saying hello or whatever good day means. Good day is what it means, but that means goodbye in English. But in Australia, it means hello. Okay, and that's why we made them leave, because I didn't know whether they were arriving or whether they were leaving, and we were like, actually, mate, why don't you all just fuck off? And they were like, good day, and we were like, we don't know what it means. I ended up changing the Google Maps to English Nigerian, which was hilarious because it's that same woman, but with like an electronic Nigerian accent on top. Try it out for yourself. Try it out for yourself. It's unbelievable. In fact, we really came like accustomed to, like, she helped us the whole way around. Like, there was another comedian there called Ash Preston from Manchester. Very flamboyant man. Wears a big scarf on stage. If I tried to do that, I would look like a prick. I'm not saying he looks like a prick, but I can't pull off that big scarf, mate. I'd just trip over it or something. Quite, you know what I mean? He's very flamboyant. He doesn't seem that flamboyant when you're talking to him, but he's very flamboyant on stage. It's a bit like, his material's nothing like Russell Brand, but he sort of looks a bit like him. Do you know what I mean? But has like braces and stuff, whatever. But we gave him a lift from he forgot to book travel between Edinburgh and Glasgow. So we were like, just hop in, mate. We're going to hop in our car. We'll take it. We're going there. And then I'm not going to do the accent because it will sound racist, all right? And I'm not even making fun of Nigerian people, all right? I'm not. Why would I? I'm making fun of Google's attempt at an electronic accent just washed over the normal Google map lady. It's crazy. You have to listen to it. It's mental. And why would someone want that? Like, if you can understand, like, if you can understand English, I mean, it's still English. Do you know what I mean? It's just harder to understand English. So if you can understand English, why would you then want to have a computerized inflection of somebody native to a different country speaking English? It's craziness. Is it for a laugh? It's weird if it's for a laugh, I feel. But anyway, we forgot that we had set it to that because it was the night after the gig. It was the morning after the gig, sorry. And we just got in the car and then picked him up. And then I'm not going to do the voice, but she was like, turn left at the fork. And we were like, shit. We've been outed as like fans of computerized. I'm not that it's a bad thing. We've been outed as fans of computerized sort of Google Nigerians. And I'm not saying I'm not a fan, All right, what's going on? Am I going to get cancelled? Or people are just going to be like, what the fuck are you talking about? What I'm trying to say is, for a split second, I was like, I wonder what he makes of this. But we just kept it on and we just said, she's our mate. She's our electronic English Nigerian friend. And but anyway, we go up there north. I'm a bit apprehensive going up because I've not gigged that. I've not gigged properly in Scotland, like doing like a longest set. I mean, it's like 10 minutes, but I'm fucking new. I'm a new comedian, right? We can go up 10 minutes in front of like what I assumed was going to be like kilt wearing, ginger bearded, fucking iron bro swilling, fucking battered pizza, fucking battered Mars bars, fucking. Do you know what I mean? Scottish people. Do you know what I mean? I look out in the crowd and it's just Ali McCoist with his family. All right, you make us laugh, mate. I'm going to stop. I'm not going to do any accents anymore. It's my new podcast policy. It's my podcast policy. That is no more accents. So insert your own Scottish. Tell you what, Google. I'll go on Google and I'll be like, apply all of the accents I'm talking about onto my voice afterwards. Do you know what I mean? Turn left at the fork. Make that Nigerian. I could show you an example of it, but I would have to take all this recording equipment and like walk out of my house and just sort of walk down the street. It wouldn't work. I haven't got a long enough extension cable. It just wouldn't work. And I'd have to walk far enough for it to give me a direction. I wonder, actually, if I just set it to 1, will she just say, will she just do it? Hang on, give me a sec. No, I don't like taking my phone out usually. Let's fucking, we're going to walk to, let's walk to Sadburge. It's Sadburge is a little village up north, which makes it sound so northern. Sadburge. Do you know what I mean? It's going to take us 4 days and 3 hours to walk there. It's 295 miles away. Are you going to say anything about it? Okay, well, maybe we can't walk there. This is great radio. I thought she was just going to say something. It's 9 hours and 49 minutes on the train. It's too long. That's why we don't have good. That's why we don't ever go to Sadburge. Hang on, here we go. Come on. Oh, maybe it's. Hang on. Right, I know this is great radio, by the way. I'm not silly. I know what great radio is, and I'm making it. Oh, fuck you, Google Maps. All right. Well, I tried. You're gonna have to do it yourself on your own apps. If you got a smartphone, I hope you do, because if you haven't got a smartphone and you listen to this, it means that you are listening to it on your computer, sat down doing nothing. So why? What the fuck, mate? But anyway, I'm going up north. I'm fucking heading up north. We stopped at a little castle. It was nice. It was sunny. It was a bit windy. It was by the sea. Went to sea houses, which is where I went one time with my children and their grandmother, who is in turn my mum. And we went to sea houses. It's quite a little nice place on the east coast. Just in my head, then I had to go to do that rhyme. Never eat shredded wheat. With terrible compasses and shredded wheat. Terrible. It's terrible for their marketing, wasn't it? Do you know what I mean? For example, football must have been loving it, because when you tune the guitar, it's like every good boy, every good boy deserves foot. What's that? Oh, is that no? That's the treble clef, isn't it? Every good boy deserves football. E G. But you know what the first letters of each thing is. Every good boy deserves football. That's the lines of the stave in the treble clef. And football, the brand football must have been like, sweet. Do you know what I mean? All these guitar players, they think if you're a good boy, you deserve football. Do you know what I mean? And here comes navigation, like, never eat shredded wheat. And shredded wheat's like, what the fuck, mate? Fuck's up. What the fuck did I do? Do you know what I mean? I just sat here, like, don't even, just minding my own business, being wheat. Just being wheat that's been shredded. Do you know what I mean? And here comes directions. Here comes compasses. Like, never eat that. And like, what the fuck? I've never said shredded wheat's not like, don't go in any direction. Do you know what I mean? It's really unfair. And it really bothers me, actually. Do you know what I mean? Because I'm like, why can't shredded wheat and just the directions that you go in just get along? Yeah. Why can't it be never eat something whack? Do you know what I mean? Don't eat that, it's whack. Because, yeah, well, we don't say whack anymore. Never eat shit wheat. Why didn't you say that? I mean, that's nice, isn't it? Oh, fucking hell. Turn my phone on, off, not silent, to try and make it be Nigerian. Oh, shit. Okay, so, why can't it be never eat shit wheat? Do you know what I mean? Because why would you want to eat that? And then shit wheat's going to be like, fair enough, hold my hands up, or say, my ears. Eh? Hold my ears up and be like, I am shit wheat. Do you know what I mean? Never eat me. And then they're like, well, it's fucking win-win for us because we're not going to get eaten. So we're just going to be able to live up to old age being shit wheat and all the good wheat. Sorry, mate, you're going to get eaten. I think like it's more of a win-win, whereas never eat shredded wheat is just fucking a bit out of line. I don't know who makes shredded wheat, but I'm sure that they were bothered by it. I'm sure it was a PR design. I'm sure they had a meeting, a crisis meeting, when compasses came out. When that rhyme for compasses came out. I wonder what they said before shredded wheat, because shredded wheat isn't been around forever. I mean, at one point, before they realized that wheat could be shredded, they probably just had to eat a whole wheat. And I know whole wheat's a thing, but like they should have probably been like, oh my god, this weight's a lot to handle, isn't it? If there was only some way we could make it smaller. And then I wonder if weetabix or shredded wheat came first. Because weetabix is far superior, isn't it? And it is wheat. It's shredded in a different way. It looks kind of the same. I always thought that I never really liked shredded wheat when I was growing up. I always thought it was like a punishment to have to eat it. Like my dad hollowed out a marrow and then got all the insides of the marrow, mixed it with the tomato sauce, poured it back in the marrow again, and served us that as dinner. And that seemed like a punishment to us because why? Why? A marrow is a giant courgette in it. Why is that's never the main thing? Why is that the main thing, Dad? He's just been like, has he found a marrow or something, or has he gone out to buy a marrow? Because he's never done it before or since. And we were like, we lived in Thetford, it's in Norfolk, and so it was before I moved to Northern Ireland. I moved to Northern Ireland when I was 10, so I'm going to say I was 8 years old eating a fucking stuffed marrow. That seems like a chore. I always thought shredded wheat seems like a bit of a chore, doesn't it? It's like eating actual hay. So I'm not a whore. I feel like horses, shredded wheat, fine. People with normal teeth and people, do you know what I mean? People. You know what a person is, isn't it? People. Weetabix. Which just made more sense. Yeah, because they got a lot more of like a chewing, like molars, and where we've got incisors. But you don't really need incisors for Weetabix. I wonder which one came first. I'm not going to find out. I'll leave that for you to decide. I'm on the way up north, right, and we stopped at sea houses, right, and I'm kind of shitting myself a bit because I'm like, well, I've got these jokes about being from the fucking south, and so on the way up I'm fucking like just going over like what, because I had a gig that night so we drove up on the day of the first show, which is the Edinburgh stand, and we were fucking heading up there, and in my head I'm like, fuck, how am I going to open? What am I going to do in the middle? And am I going to get fucking found out? Am I going to go up there? I'm going to bomb for a fucking week. Plus I'm with my friend from college who's driving us, like fucking legend. Am I going to be, he's never seen me do stand-up before, and he's maybe heard a couple of sets, but from like when I first started, like first 6 months, where it's like, oh, he's all right for someone who's been going for like 2 months or whatever. But is it going to be fucking gash? Is he going to be, because I was like, because I was like, you could drive me if you want, dude, but it might be shit because I've not been going very long. but I've in my head I've got this fucking set worked out. Anyway, we get to the fucking venue, and oh yeah, it's a bit of a pain in the ass because we didn't look at parking or anything. It was all really unorganized, like disorganized and that. So we're But anyway, eventually we get to the fucking venue and it's fucking rammed. It's not huge, but it's big. It's big enough, man. It's like, and it's right, and all the people sit right on the fucking stage, pretty much. There's like tables like overhanging the stage, and it's fucking cool. And it's got that really iconic little cowboy with a fucking gun to his head. There, stage, everything's there, set up perfect. It's fucking brilliant. Like, it looks class. And I'm watching them. It's the acts before us, fucking hammering it. The crowd are loving it, right? And then and I did that, and we'll get onto the main bulk of what we're talking about in a bit. But I had a pint or two. I was nervous as shit. I was like, I just don't want I don't want to start this little triple run. I don't want to start it with a fucking bomb. All right. And because you've always got to try and take risks still, I had like a couple of little tweaks to jokes, and I had one joke that I'd never done before that I'd wrote on the way up there because I was like, it's a good little tag. And I've got this one joke which I kind of used to talk about. It's about anxiety, and I used to talk about the difference between people from the south of England, people from the north of England, and how I feel like the people in the south are a bit more anxiety ridden. Well, I've reworked that joke to make it not about the north and south anymore. So I've changed that, and I've never tried it like that before. And then I wrote a little bit which is like a completely new joke, but it sort of bridged a gap and made the set more coherent. Do you know what I mean? So I've never tried that out before, so I'm a bit fucking nervous. Like, so I'm going outside for a cigarette every fucking 3 seconds. You know, that sort of thing. Pacing, a lot of pacing. And then this comedian Ash Preston, who I talked about briefly a minute ago, the flamboyant guy from Manchester, Ash Preston. He's on before me. So in the middle section we've got the three traveling comedians who are doing like the triple run, and then the opening section is like more newer local acts who are maybe doing their first couple of gigs. There's fucking like a couple of people who are doing their first ever gig, which is pretty mad. But the crowd are fucking loving it. I don't know what it is. It must be because it's just really like professionally run club, and there must be a reason why like the crowd are just like a proper, like they feel like a proper comedy sort of savvy crowd. No one's heckling, no one's being a dick, and everyone's just getting on board with it, right? And I was like, in my head, I was like, well, wait until you fucking go on there and fucking shit yourself on stage or whatever's about to happen. Do you know what I mean? So Ash Preston is on before me, and I'd only ever seen him do one new material set down in Brighton. He came down Brighton for some reason. Maybe he was just like on the way around this way. But he just did one new material set. Didn't think much of it, but then you can't really judge someone on a new material set because, you know, it's fucking new material. Do you know what I mean? I'm the king of fucking bombing new material sets. Do you know what I mean? Because you have to try new shit out, take some fucking risks and that. He is killing before me. And in a way that makes me feel loads more nervous because I'm like, shit. You've got to follow that. You've got to keep that going. But at the same time, I feel quite good about it because I'm like, he's showing me what the crowd are capable of. You know, what, like sometimes you will get an just off audience, and it happens. It kind of happens sometimes down in, when you play like in a pub. It's like they do a gig every month. The crowd are sort of all right, but there's only a certain level they can go to because they have just in their head they've got like a limitation themselves of how good the night could be. Do you know what I mean? So then they're like, you can't take them to that extra level. But these fucking crowd are like going, like they're just in it. They're just involved. They're up for it as fuck, right? And he's absolutely killing it. It's making me fucking... And I'm stood by the back door, just where the stage is, and I'm fucking just walking around in circles, mate. And I wrote my fucking set in my hand for the first time in just ages. Like, I just don't ever do it anymore because it's like a security blanket thing for me. Like, I'll just keep looking at it when I don't even need to. Like, it's like because it's there. Do you know what I mean? It's like, it won't be shit if I've got my fucking set. But anyway, like I wrote it on my hand because I was just like, fuck, I was thinking of anything that could go wrong. Just I was like, I'm gonna fucking cover that ground, fucking make sure there's fuck all, like fucking pad everything with fucking foam, and like nothing's gonna go wrong. But anyway, he comes off the fucking stage, smashed it. Like, I don't know how he feels about it, but maybe it's just because I was so. But I'm pretty sure he smashed it. But because I wasn't really listening to his material. Do you know what I mean? I was just fucking listening to the laughs and that, and just shitting myself basically. And I'm fucking so like, it feels important. It feels like I've traveled a long way. It's my first ever triple run like this in real comedy clubs. I mean, I played comedian, not still at the main room, but the studio bar, and I played the Glee, new material night, the comedy carousel at the Glee, and I've done King Kong at the Comedy Store, which was fucking just even though it was only 3.5 minutes, which is I guess is all right time for King Kong. I got to stand in the fucking, and I know it's not the real fucking Comedy Store. Obviously, I won't say that if I ever got to do a longer set there. But and I did the BBC thing at Up the Creek, and so I played in actual comedy clubs, but this was the fucking first time I was like name on the fucking bill, name on the fucking bill, not part of a competition. Do you know what I mean? This is like you've got one of the longer spots of the night. I mean, there's a headliner who does longer, but there's 3 people doing 10 minutes. That's the second longest spot, and you're one of them. Do you know what I mean? You're part of the fucking night. So I fucking come out, and I just came out, and I was just like, I just met it on fucking autopilot. Do you know what I mean? Like, I was just in it, and it just went really fucking well. And I made a couple of bad choices on material. It did not it all worked, which was unbelievable. But then when I had time to reflect on it, I was like, oh, like because it all worked, maybe I should have taken more of a risk with some of these other bits that are more new, stuff that I like saying more. I just played it a bit safe on the first one. I did have, as I say, I had them very brand new bits in there, but I also and I opened like all of the front loaded it with newer stuff, but then I was like, I've got this other stuff to not necessarily fall back on, but stuff that I'm like, I want to close it out strong. And I feel like you just deliver I delivered the newer stuff, the stuff that I'm more passionate about and the stuff that I care about, like at the start, but just more. And it can't, and then you get into the also if you're like, oh, this is the classic stuff. Maybe you take your foot off the gas a little bit for the last bit. And I'm not saying it was bad. It was that the first gig up till the first gig was one of the best gigs I'd ever had. And then I fucking and then oh 1 second. Yeah, it's one of the fucking best gigs I've ever had. But there was loads of like. It was cool because it's like it's always your best. It's the worst gigs you have that make you feel fucking down for like weeks and weeks and make you want to quit comedy or quit fucking living. Do you know what I mean? But it's the ones that are fucking amazing, which I actually find quite cringy to listen to because you can always you listen to it like a couple of times and you're like, oh, that's fucking really good and fucking I can't wait to show people this. This is like recording. And then you listen to it like a third or fourth time, and you're like, "Oh, I've noticed that now." The little tiny little blemishes in your performance, and then they get really fucking glaring. Really, but that's good, I suppose, because you're supposed to be like, "Yeah, take out all that." But then I don't like. You don't want to see perfect fucking stand-up comedy, do you? Unless you, there's like loads of like. I'm quite loud, quite energetic, not really like that vulgar really, but quite like abrasive on stage. Like I'm quite in your face sort of perform, which is very fucking loud is what I'm trying to say. And I mean, it's like you listen back and you're like, there's like imperfections in it, but maybe you don't know. Maybe it's the imperfections in the moment liveness of it that makes it a good set. Do you know what I mean? Like if you took them out, would it take out the sort of soul of the performance or whatever? But anyway, there's loads of stuff to listen to. So we fucking we fucking finished that gig, and it turns out Scotland fucking closes at 10 p.m. Didn't know that, and I mean it was on Monday night, but so we just fucking go out. We go up to like Edinburgh Castle, have a little bit of a smoke and that, and then go back to our fucking hostel. Get into it's one of them weird sort of community hostels where people are just like hanging out and that. And they're sort of, I expected it to be a bit more like clinical, a bit like, there's your bed, there's your fucking, like, do you know, like the military, like we were in fucking Full Metal Jacket, do you know what I mean? Everyone's just, and then someone's going to come in at 6 a.m, barking at us with their really like fucking weird, straight, flat sort of American Marine hat, do you know what I mean? It's like calling us all maggots and shit. But we go in and we go into this fucking room, and there's this dude in there. There's these like 3 like Chinese girls. They're all on their phones or laptops or whatever. And there's just this guy in the corner just playing like virtuoso, like classical piano. And we were just pretty baked at this point, so we just fucking sat down. Just like, what the fuck? It was like really surreal because all the chairs were like really like ornate. It's like, because it was all, I don't know, in the hostel they sort of found all this kind of furniture and shit. And it was all sort of quite like nice, and they had like paintings up on the walls and stuff. And this guy was just fucking wailing out playing this classical piano and stuff. And we were just like zoning out, mate. Just sat in there for like half an hour, like 45 minutes or whatever. And we were like, fuck, we should go and fucking smoke up again and come back because it's fucking class. So we go outside again. Fucking have like a few tokes and that. Come back inside. The guy's fucked off. But then my friend looked through the fucking window and was like, oh, he's in this other room playing guitar. And I looked through and I was like, I don't think that's him. And he was like, oh, it for sure is. So we go into this other sort of communal sort of, this is more of like a beanbag sort of affair. Do you know what I mean? Like a cozy, like little fucking snug. Do you know what I mean? But there's this one guy in there with a guitar, and there's a girl next to him. And she's all like, really cuddled up to him, and he's playing some fucking love song on his guitar, and she's like all like cuddled up into him, like they were in their own bedroom, and we're off our fucking tits, like stoned. We just go and sit on this sofa, and this other girl comes in, all like in her pajamas and that, sort of sprawls out on this fucking beanbag, and they're sort of whispering to each other. I'm assuming they're a couple, but whatever. Fucking whispering to each other, and I sat down. I was like in there for about a minute max, and I was like, turned around to my mate. I was like, fuck. It felt so awkward. Imagine just fucking walking into someone's house and just walking upstairs, and the fucking teenage couple are just doing like weird, like, let me just play this song I wrote on the guitar. Do you know what I mean? In their room, and she's like, oh my god, you're like an artist. Like, fucking, and he's just playing like C major, but like, I love things, you know, and I feel strongly about stuff. She's like swooning and that, and then you just fucking go in there and just sit down in there without saying anything, not even like, right, just nothing, because it was like cane as fuck. Just sat there, and then she's like, and then they sort of like get a bit closer together, like, who are they? And I was like, dude, I've got to fucking go. I can't. This is ridiculous. And he was like, oh, I'll see you in a bit. And I was like, as if you're going to fucking sit here. And he was like, yeah. And then I got up and I left, and I waited outside the door for a couple of, for maybe 30 seconds to see like if he followed me and that. And then we'd fucking do whatever afterwards. But he just didn't come out. So I went down to the fucking communal. There's 14 people in a fucking hostel room. I went down there. And then he did come about 10 minutes later, but to ask him about it the next day, and he was just like, he just fucking loved how awkward it was. And he just sat there, and he knew they wanted him to go. And he was like, all right, just hanging out, mate. I mean, it's a communal room. You can do whatever the fuck you want in it. So it's fucking weird, man. It's a weird hostel. That fucking piano man, though, was spot on. That was fucking cool. That was great. It made the fucking night. So first gig, it's fucking banging. A lot to learn from my fucking set. And then, so we drive up to Glasgow with fucking Ash and our fucking English Nigerian assistant leading the way. Do you know what I mean? We drop him off at bus station, Glasgow. This is the Glasgow fucking stand. It's an absolutely different kettle of fish. We get fucking down there. and it's fucking rammed. My friend Alex, who lives in Glasgow, came. He's fucking in the crowd. That's cool. I didn't even know he was coming. Brian, he mentioned he might come, but he fucking came. Like, this place is, I'm gonna say twice as big. There's fucking people standing. Like, it's so full that people are standing up. This is the room that fucking Stuart Lee did his special in, and this is fucking like the weight of expectation. The amount of pacing they did at this one was fucking unbelievable. But so basically got the same set list, pretty much. But I've rejigged the ending slightly. All right. But I come out and the opening few jokes I've got are like normally, so I've got like, so the first run of jokes takes normally a normal gig about 2.5 minutes with like normal levels of laughter. I come out and this fucking shit is killing, dude. It's fucking killing. Do you know what I mean? I just was like, what the fuck? It was just fucking, everything was landing. People were laughing just for ages. And I was like, fuck, I could count on my one hand or both hands the amount of times it's been like this. Do you know what I mean? And out of like almost 400 gigs now, and I've had lots of good. I mean, I don't always talk about fucking being shitloads, but I've had lots of good gigs too. But there's a difference between a good gig, fucking smashing me. But the problem is, and this is gonna sound fucking really wanky and stupid, but it is, and it's a good problem to have, is that the first few bits, literally, it took me twice as long to get through the material because they were laughing so much. Which really, but then I had a couple of longer sort of stories because I was like, once I've got them all on board, we'll hit them with these couple of longer bits. They can, get to know me more as a person. Fucked me up for the last bit of my set. So the first 5 or 6 minutes, it's fucking smashing, and I think you can tell in my voice. I haven't really listened to that one back as much, but you can tell in my voice that I'm just like. What's going on? Like, I was, because I'll laugh at it, because I want to be in it, man. I like being in the fucking room with the crowd. So if something's going on, if you're reacting off something's happened in the fucking crowd, or if they're fucking really digging a joke that I've kind of recently written, and I fucking think it's funny. I fucking wrote it. Do you know what I mean? So like, I'll fucking be in there with them. I'm not laughing at my own jokes like an absolute psycho, but I'm just fucking having fun in the fucking room. Do you know what I mean? I look like I'm having a fucking good time. I'm fucking just fucking making eye contact, laughing with people, and that it's good. But then when I was like, fuck, I looked at my fucking timer. I only got like fucking 4 minutes left, like 4.5 minutes left. And I'm like, shit, I got so much material. And in my head, I'm like, well, what bit do you do now? Do you go into a longer bit? Do you keep it with this fucking punchy fucking, what's already been fucking working this well? And I made the wrong decision. I went into a longer story, and you could kind of feel it. It was like it didn't turn into a bomb or anything. It just dropped by maybe 10 or 20%, and it was on for me. I'm not saying compared to every comedian in the world, but for how my set usually goes, they're on about fucking between 90 and 100% on board, just so up for it. And then maybe when I get into the story, it drops down to about maybe 70 or 65, which is still all right gig, I suppose, because there's fucking loads of people in there. If you can get fucking 70% of the audience on fucking side, then you're kind of buzzing, because they're fucking strangers, you know what I mean? But like at one point, I had them all. For the first half of the set, I had everyone there involved. Do you know what I mean? And so it kind of in my head, because I'm the one I've seen all of my gigs. Do you know what I mean? I've been at all my gigs, so my level of I expect from myself is much higher than maybe somebody who's never seen me before is, especially if they've seen me killing that high. But I'm like, becomes my job now after that first 5 minutes to keep it at that fucking level, because if it drops too much, if it drops below that, then you're not gonna feel good when you come off stage, because you're gonna be like, I fucking had them and I fucking lost it, and that's worse than never having them at all. I think. If it's because then you can be like, oh, maybe it was a shit crowd, or maybe I just did shit. But to have them and then fucking, oh, it's like that bit out of Cliffhanger, or what I was actually going to reference, which is a parody of that, Ace Ventura 2, where he lets go of that fucking what is it? Raccoon. Let's go of that fucking raccoon. And he falls to his death. I felt like that. I'd got the raccoon. I'd saved the fucking raccoon. I was halfway. I was almost fucking home. I just took the wrong path with the material. Right? And it wasn't fucking bad, but in my head, I was the only one who felt like this in my head. Because my friend Bernie, he fucking drove me. He thought it was better. He thought the set was better. He was like it. But I feel like it's because of how hard the first bit was killing, and I wouldn't say that lightly. It was fucking smashing it, mate. And I came off, and I was a bit like, oh, do you know what I mean? I had them so hard. Is that a real sentence? I'm so hard, and I just fell and slipped just at the last minute. It was like, fuck. It's like that, kind of like that competition I was talking about earlier. I just had them, and then I let it slip out of my grasp, and I was like, I'm not fucking letting that happen again at the last gig, right? Anyway, I'm outside, we're talking about this exact thing, and I'm having a cigarette. The MC runs out, and it's because there's a guy from London, a bit more of a posh boy from London called Sam Mitchell, who's great. He's really, really funny and really sound guy. But he every night he went on stage after me, and he was fucking great too. Absolutely killed it. But often the comedians will put their mobile phone on backstage, record the audio of their set. Anyway, I'm having a fucking cigarette outside, and the MC runs out with his phone, and she's like, "Oh no, I think you've left your phone on record after your set's finished," because I pretty much went straight out for a fact. You know what I mean? To be like, "Fuck, I had him." Do you know what I mean? And everyone was like, "What?" It was great, and I was like, "I fucking had him." And then you look like a knob, basically. But But anyway, my phone was in my pocket. I was like, dude, I think that's fucking Sam's phone. Sam has just gone on stage. She's just recording his set, and this fucking venue's cool. I'd have been a bit like, it would have been funny, but I'd have been a bit like, I wanted that recording, because no one's filming this shit. Do you know what I mean? It's fucking in the room right there. So this is the only copy of it. And she runs out and like, oh, you forgot your phone. It's still recording. I'm like, dude, I think that's Sam's phone. And she's like, oh, fuck. And into the phone, she's like, sorry, Sam. And then runs back inside to put it down. So I wonder if he's listened back to the recording. He's not mentioned anything to me, if he has. Do you know what I mean? But he's going to be like listening back. Because if that was his favorite gig of the run, because he really did well as well. He had a great set. So if he fucking comes back, and he's like, oh, this is the one I'm going to send up. Imagine if he doesn't even listen. He just knows. Imagine if he's like, I know that gig was good, so I'm just going to send that off to promoters to get more gigs. And in the middle of it, you just hear me being like, I think that's Sam's phone. And then her being like, sorry, Sam. And I'm running back in, and just all of a sudden materials in the middle of fucking material or whatever. But anyway, when we arrived in Glasgow, there was this fucking... right next to the hostel where we parked the car, there was this fucking thumping noise. It was like, poof, 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 poof. It just didn't stop. And it was like coming from this building site next to the hostel, where we were like, what the fuck, mate? And then we go into our room, and it's really fucking loud in our room. Poof, poof, poof. And there's this Australian guy in a bed who fucking lives there. And we're like, what the fuck is that noise, mate? And he's like, oh, that's the noise. That's like the building noise. And we looked out the window, and there's a fucking machine, and it's got all these steel girders, and it's got these crosses marked on the floor, seemingly at just random places, Got all these crosses marked on the floor, and it's just hammering these fucking girders into the ground. And we were like, what the fuck? Why? And he was like, don't worry, mate. It just happens during the day. It just happens during the day. What the fuck does that mean? Like, the day is most of the time. We're like, what time did it start today? And it was like about 8 o'clock in the morning. And I was like, what? And then it just goes on until the day. What time does it get dark? Like fucking 7? That's all the time. You may as well have just said it happens all the time. It's ludicrous. So fucking, we're sitting there and we had a Corona. I'll get onto the drinking aspect of the podcast in a minute. This is going to be a fucking long one. I'm sorry about that, but I've got a fucking... if you're listening, I have to take that apology back. You want to listen, don't you? Sorry for me. Sorry that I'm talking a lot on my podcast, by the way. But we're going to have a Corona. Just it's happening the whole fucking time. And I'm like, fucking hell, mate. This is ridiculous. I was like, at least we're going to get an early fucking start in the morning. So when we woke up in the morning, I woke up at about 7 and there was no noise. But I looked around and there was these new people in the room, like, 'cause it was a shared hostel room. And there's these fucking 3, like, American people. There's this one girl that's down the bottom and she kind of is already kind of awake. And then at like 7:30 or 8 o'clock, all I hear is... Then like, uh-oh. It fucking starts, mate. And these Americans have got fucking no idea. We look down, the Australian's gone. Do you know what I mean? He's fucking already gone. It's fucked up. He knows what's happening. And we're fucking... And I just started laughing. And I was like, fucking these guys don't know what they're in for. The fucking American ladies down there just laughing as well. Turns out my friend Bernie spoke to her. They stayed in a hostel the night before as well. But there was a building site outside their hostel that made loads of noise and they couldn't get to sleep. So they went to get a more expensive hostel and then they paid extra for a late checkout. And all of a sudden, they've got this fucking noise outside their room that only happens during the day. It's all right, mate. It's only during the day, that. It's only at daytime that this fucking noise happens. It's fucking crazy. Anyway, got us a fucking early start. Head down fucking Newcastle, mate. Newcastle. This was the one I was most apprehensive about because I am from near Newcastle. I am from fucking like within an hour's drive of 40 minutes of Newcastle. I got a bunch of friends coming. My friend Carrie came, who I've known for fucking years. My parents came. My fucking sister came. My sister's boyfriend came. My cousin came. Obviously Bernie came, so he'd be driving us, but his girlfriend came. Another friend from college came, and his girlfriend came. Fucking loads of people I know there. Plus, it's the biggest venue. It's fucking absolutely packed. Absolutely packed. There's a fucking little walkway backstage, and I'm fucking pacing like fuck. I'm like, I've got material about my family which they haven't heard yet, and I mean, some of it's not even true. I'm gonna fucking tell a room full of people about it anyway. Do you know what I mean? It's a bit like, I'm sorry, mate, seeing behind the curtain there, but some of it is just jokes. It's not all what's happened or what I think. Do you know what I mean? But beforehand, I went up to him and I was like, don't be offended about the jokes about my family. Some of it's embellished, and it's only for the first couple of minutes, so don't leave and watch the rest of my stupid material afterwards, please. Not to mention the whole bit in the middle about magic mushrooms. I didn't actually care about that, though. I was really apprehensive that I didn't want to upset anyone in my family, but I also was going to definitely do the material. Do you know what I mean? But this time they changed it around because it's the last show of the triple run. Ash has got to go back to Manchester, so he goes in the first half, and now we've got they put Sam on before me in this one, and I'm still in the middle there, so it's fucking Sam's on stage having a great fucking set, and I'm fucking pacing like an absolute madman. And dude, I came out. I'm not going to go on about this one too much, but I had the best fucking gig of my life. It was unbelievable. The crowd were fucking amazing. The crowd was so fucking amazing. Like, they were just laughing probably too hard, and I'm like, this is fucking too. It just felt like too easy. Like, I've done a lot of fucking shit gigs in the corner of fucking pubs and stuff. I felt like I deserved at least a couple of gigs like this. You know what I mean? Every gig was a fucking absolute dream, but this fucking Newcastle one was the fucking icing on the cake, mate. It was like every fucking movement elicited a laugh. There's one point where I said a joke, and then this one guy had a really funny high pitched laugh, which just set the whole fucking room off, dude. And what I'm gonna do is There's a lot, but the thing is, this is the one. It was my favorite gig I've ever done, hands down, just because of the high pressure situation, how many people were there, how far I am away from home, but how close I am to my fucking childhood home. The fact that I had fucking loads of family and friends who I'd not even seen in years. Do you know what I mean? Like, I've seen my family, but there's a couple of friends there I've not fucking seen in years, mate, in the fucking crowd. There's so much like riding on it of whether they'll come again or think I'm good, or they'll tell my other fucking friends. And do you know what I mean? It's important. I mean, just to get people to come out again when I'm back up there. And it just fucking just goes off. It just goes off. There's loads of it, but this is my favorite gig, but also the gig that I can take most, because on the recording you can tell how fucking loud and overexcited I am. And fucking, there's a couple of tried to add a little couple of improv little tags in, which didn't quite work, but I did it while everyone was already laughing, so it doesn't really matter. Do you know what I mean? And the little bits that fall off, and a bit, couple of tiny little hack bits of crowd work, which is fine, because Greg Fitzsimmons once said that it's fine when you do crowd work, it's fine to be a hack. And I'm like, okay, cool, because it's like I'm not one of them comedians who does a lot of crowd work. Like I'll look people in the fucking eye and I'll talk to people and I'll comment on things if they happen in the room, but I'm not like a hey, what's your job sort of thing. Do you know what I mean? Like, so you can add in like bits like little tags that you would never write. Do you know what I mean? You would never like be like, oh, that's going to be part of my set, but things you just add in on the spur of the moment, which is fine to do. And I'll take any advice that fucking Greg Fitzsimmons has, and that's one of the bits. So I'm taking it. So fuck off. But I'm gonna put a copy of the recording on, because no one listens to this, and if you do listen, then you probably like me already, or you've probably seen me do comedy already, or I've probably even shown you this fucking recording already. But also because there's loads of stuff in it that I want to change about my set, even though it was the best thing I've ever done. There's loads of stuff in it where I'm like, oh, you need to tone that bit down, or there's basically, it was dynamically one thing I've been working on a lot at doing stand-up comedy, like over the last year, is because I'm a very loud and energetic person, and I've been trying to nuance that a lot. I've been trying to bring it down. I've been trying to know when to bring it up. I've been trying to do it in a controlled way, not just have one speed. And this was very much fucking Sam Kinison, mate. This is all fucking go, which I think's fine, because that's how I felt. I felt like a release of, because I was so pent up backstage, so apprehensive about whether or not because my whole opening bit that's been fucking killing the whole way around on this triple run, Edinburgh and fucking Glasgow, that's been the bit that's just setting up the set, and it killed so hard the night before in Glasgow. I'm like, have to do it. I can't not do it. But it's the first time they've seen it, and I'm talking about the fact that, because I was brought up by my stepmom. I'll put the material on, you better hear it. But basically, it's like I'm talking about my stepmom and also my mom and stuff. And with family, you don't really talk about that kind of stuff. I've never really spoke about it with them and all that kind of thing. And now I'm doing it as a joke, but in front of all these people and them. Do you know what I mean? I'm apprehensive about it, mate. And I'm fucking, but all of that fucking pent up, like, sort of energy and psyching yourself up. And I was listening to Africa Shocks on the way around, you know what I mean? Just all that fucking aggression and fucking Africa bombard. Do you know what I mean? That is my song that I listen to before I go to stage. I fucking love it. But it just came out of me, and I couldn't control it. I didn't want to control it. I just wanted to live in it. And I was like, I'm not gonna fucking worry about it. I'm just gonna let maybe my muscle memory with the dynamics and stuff, let it take care of itself and just fucking enjoy it. And that is one of the, you don't ever enjoy stand-up comedy until these moments. Do you know what I mean? Because when you're writing something, you don't know if it's fun to write, because it's fun coming up with ideas. You don't know whether it's going to work or not. Before gigs, it's apprehensive. If the gig goes really well, then you get to enjoy it then. And if the gig goes badly, you fucking feel like shit for weeks, mate, sometimes. So, but it is drugs though. It's stand-up comedy, if I can tell you. But I was just like, because I felt it. I felt this fucking release of energy, and I made the decision in my head. I'm fucking doing it. This just gonna let it go. It's gonna fucking. This is the last day of the triple run. All the gigs have been fucking class. This one has started amazingly. They're laughing at just even little movements that I'm making. Fucking start to finish. There's a couple of little tiny applause breaks, but it didn't. The one thing that is a little let down is it never became a full applause break. You get smatterings. You'd never get like a full applause break. I'm pretty sure I have to listen back, but I'm pretty sure I got one in Edinburgh. But yeah, it didn't come down. But this one was like I was urging. I was like, go on, do like a full one. But the thing is, I'll probably get feedback from the stand comedy clubs, and I emailed them about my feedback. I haven't got it back yet, but it'll probably say something along the lines of "too loud, we're never having them again." But in my head, fucking was the best. And you can tell because people come up to you afterwards and they're like, "That's fucking really good." And like as I say, most of the times I talk about gigs on this fucking podcast, it's going to be about how shit they were, and or more to the point, how shit I was. All right, but give me this one time to talk about this one fucking gig, and I'll put it on at the end to show that I'm not just being a fucking psycho knob about it. And also, the reason why I put it at the end is because I want to fucking. Now I've done it, I'm like, right, now you fucking back to work again. Do you know what I mean? Like, you're back. All them bits that you've been working on that you just fucking not necessarily let go out the window, but you let sort of take care of themselves. I changed the set, by the way, for the last one completely. I changed the set. I took out all of the stuff from. So basically, like, I'd written my bullet points out before the thing. So what I normally do is I do one bullet point a minute because I know how long my sort of stories and how I know I don't know exactly because I'm not a psycho. My sort of punchlines to like big talking points to a set are. Do you know what I mean? I know how long all my stories are, like instinctually, I guess, because I've done them loads. So I do for a 10-minute set. I'll normally do about 13 bullet points, and then some of the bits will take up more than one bullet point because they're a bit longer. So my friend Bernie was saying is in the first gig that I did in Edinburgh, I managed to get through all of the material that I'd written because I didn't let the crowd get on board enough, didn't let them laugh for long enough. So I was kind of cutting them off and rushing them a bit of material because it's vulnerable to stand there on stage, especially when you don't know if they're going to laugh. Now, the second gig in Glasgow, I let them laugh, but then I didn't account for the fact of how much space I gave them to laugh, how that would affect the set going on. So this time I took all of the second half material that I was going to do, took all that out, put in newer story, like still a bit longer stories, but they're like stories with space, and where each line is kind of a joke in itself, which sounds like material that I should be doing anyway. But yeah, and then so this one I changed it completely around, and just put in stuff, and I was just like, I'm just gonna give him space, and I'll put in like different alleyways it will take. But anyway, I'll put that fucking on. Anyway, so I do that gig, best gig I've ever fucking done. Everyone's fucking happy. My family aren't crying because I've been making jokes about how all my mums have got the same name. As I say, you'll hear it in the fucking recording. But I will end in a second because it's been quite long so far. But I can come back down south. I'm feeling fucking great on the fucking coach. Do you know what I mean? On the way back down. I don't have a gig on the Thursday. On Friday, I do this thing called the Secret Comedy Club sometimes, which is a great venue, little fucking room, about 30 people, a completely different fucking board game than up north. And these are, and the crowds sometimes, the crowd can be sometimes up for it and sometimes not. And on Friday, I found, for me at least, they were very much not. And the thing is, I was feeling so over the moon about this fucking set on Wednesday. Come down, exactly the same fucking material. Nothing. Absolutely nothing. And I was doing it, and then, like, I say nothing, but there's like 2 people in this side bit of the room who were laughing. And I was like, I looked at them like halfway through, and I was like, this is just for you, this fucking gig, which made people laugh because they were like, yeah, we know The whole room did laugh at that bit. And it was such a deflating, fuck thing. Do you know what I mean? It's like, I couldn't believe it. And it's like, oh, this is just what it's like, isn't it? Like, you can't fucking, if it's a shit gig, I'll fucking cry about it for years. But there's some gigs that I've done that months later, I'm like, fuck, I can't believe I decided to do that, or said that, or I let that fucking dude shout that without saying this, or do you know what I mean? Just that kind of shit. But if I have a good one, it will last like a couple of days, and then you just, as soon as you've done the next gig, the good one doesn't even matter anymore. It's ridiculous. It's what I fucking like. It's bad for the heart. That's what I've decided. It's really bad for your fucking heart. So this has been the Alkaline podcast. My name is Riggs. I'm from Brighton, and I tell jokes on stage to not loads of people, and then sometimes loads of people at once. And this is the Alkaline podcast where I attempt to get clean or die trying. And it's been really fucking long, this, because I had loads of stuff to talk about for once. But what I'm probably going to do, because I didn't talk about my fight for sobriety and very much on this, I just spoke about my ridiculous process for like over an hour. So what I'll probably do is tomorrow I'll do the fucking one about what I discovered about myself and my relationship with booze, mate, which is the whole point of what we're doing here, apparently. I mean, all I've been talking about is comedy and freelance chefing over the last few ones, you know what I mean? Barry from EastEnders. But no, I'll do what I'll do. It's probably a much shorter one, because I've been thinking about it quite a lot, about the relationship between having a couple of pints and the level of and how, what effect it has on your nerves. And I've been thinking about it quite a lot. But as I say, I don't want this to be fucking really long or rambly. Plus, sweet chili chicken thighs has just come home, so I'll call it there. Thanks for listening, and then I'll do another one tomorrow, just like a short little bonus Alkaline podcast, which is about the Alkaline podcast aspect of the fucking tour and also what occurred afterwards. So fucking 10 people who have been listening pretty consistently, apart from 1 week where 2 people listened. I don't know what happened there. Probably they all went on holiday. But have I listened to it 10 times? I don't know. But if you are out there, I'll fucking put that set from Newcastle on the end of this one. If you want to listen, I'll put it in a minute. You'll hear it in a minute. And then tune in tomorrow for the shorter one about drinking and stand-up comedy. All right, mate. Cool. See you later.
Stage, you know the drill, start coming. Start coming. Are you all doing alright? Alright, give me a cheer if you got Susan. Yeah. This is how I start all my gigs now. I'm trying to be a more relatable comedian. Locate all the Susans in the room. Because you can always trust a Susan, can't you? Can't you? All my mums are Susans. Like my birth mum, we put in sort of all the initial effort. She's called Susan. And then my stepmum, we sort of took up the slack a little bit later down the line. Also a Susan. How much does my dad fucking love Susan? Yeah, at least for a bit. Cut my dad, he bleeds Susans. Sometimes I like to think about his chat-up line, you know, he goes to the bar, Susan's already there. Like original Susan or Newson, I call her Newson, new Susan. She's already there, glass of wine in her hand, you know, hair all in rollers, classic Susan. You know. And she's like, hi, I'm Susan. I'm a work at. He'd be like, stop you there. You have me as Susan. Right, cool. So human babies, right? There's no segues here. There's no segues here. Human babies, and if we can't agree on anything, can we just all please just agree on this? Human babies can basically do fuck all, right? Right? However, baby horses, they practically just trot straight out of the womb, don't they? Which is why I think that centaurs are the least likely of all mythical creatures. Because whenever you see a centaur in like a film or whatever, like The Lion and the Witch and the Wardrobe, right, they've all somehow beaten the odds, right, and made it to like full adulthood, haven't they? Right? But in actuality, if that centaur had even survived to just 8 weeks, you know, the back half is a fully formed horse. And the front half is barely even a toddler. So that thing's just sort of crawling around aimlessly like some kind of half horse, half human sort of centipede, for want of a better word. I just don't think any of them would have survived. And if you are offended by any of this centaur material, I am a Sagittarius. I'm allowed. Dude, I did that joke down in London about 2 weeks ago, and someone in the crowd shouted, "Bro, you got some real white boy material." And I said, "Well, you haven't heard the jokes about my anxieties yet." So I had this anxiety attack. And it's like the first time I've ever felt like an interesting person. You know? Like please. Just like, do you know how hard it is to try and come off as an artist when you're sort of basically fine? I finally found my thing, you know. It's good. Because like, I went to music college, you know, and I should have known I had no chance what with all this sort of anxiety and all this Susan blood just kind of sloshing around inside me. But I got a 2-2 in music, right? Do you know how little you have to apply yourself to get a 2-2 in music? This sort of FedEx delivery guy came in whistling, and he left with a first. Dude, I was in a punk band in college. You know how ridiculous that is, you know what I mean? Like, fuck this system! And then study period. And then fuck the system some more! I got several reasons for having anxiety, man. Right? I got declared dead. By the government. Via post. It came as quite a surprise. I always wondered how I was going to die. But I never in a million years thought it'd be because of an administration error. So like, I decided to phone him up all from like beyond the grave and And they asked me to put through to Elaine Comerford, who's the admin officer for HM Revenue and Customs, and they put me through. And I gave her my details. And she was like, how can I help you? And I said, to be honest, I thought you'd be more surprised to hear from me. So I'm originally from Darlington. I don't know Darlow. Alright. Easy. But I did music college in Brighton because it seemed like a much sort of friendlier town. Because in my opinion, like sort of any city that has sort of a citywide annual naked bike ride, that was never going to be a rough place to live, was it? Because like back in Darlow where I'm from, like, you see a naked man on a bike, someone has stolen that guy's clothes. And then that naked man, he's nicked a bike. Because what kind of man would steal someone's clothes but let him keep his bike? Any of you guys ever been to Brighton before? Oh, less booing for Brighton than Darlow. I like it, man. Brighton's quite a hipster place, you know that? I mean, look at the fucking state of me in my plaid shirt, you know what I mean? But like, I try to settle into sort of the Brighton way of life, you know, like I try to teach myself how to longboard. I sort of developed a bit of a vegan lifestyle briefly. It ended when I had a Greg's sausage roll. You can take the man out of the north! And I also try to take these magic mushrooms. But with an amateur taxidermist. But the thing is, she didn't tell me about her hobby until I'd already been at her house for like 2 hours. Which is not fair! She asked me if I wanted to see her pets. And I thought she was just going to introduce me to like a cat or a dog. She'd just been keeping in the kitchen for a bit. Then she just started wheeling out. All of these perched birds. And before long, I sat in a room on hallucinogenic drugs, surrounded by a room full of perched birds. And I had to be like, dude, your pets, they're not making any noise. Alright, so I've got a couple of children, obviously. No, I do, but I saw my daughter in the Lion King play recently, a school play. If you want to see cultural progression, right? You want to see cultural progression? Go and watch an all-white year group, alright? Wearing black onesies and trying to sing in an African accent. Mufasa was northern. One day, son! All this'll be yours! What about that dark place over there, son? Don't ever go there, mate! That's Middlesbrough, that! That's been my time. Thank you.